I have to say that I watched this movie, I've seen it like 3 times now.
All right.
It's so, I was so impressed with it's such a cool experience to see it for the first time and sort of get sucker punched by the ending, and then watching it a couple more times knowing where the movie is going to go, because I feel like it's an even richer experience. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me. This reminded me of like a Charlie Kaufman movie. Like
Thank you
like,
very much.
yeah, like the sort of like the way that it's intellectually examines like emotions to a cool point. That's what it reminded me of a lot. So correct me if I'm wrong, this was inspired by a book?
Yeah, this book.
So, oh, you have it right there. Great.
Well, it's the French version, so that's the French title, Le Censor des Rêves. It's by, I don't know if you see it right, because I see it upside down.
No, I see it.
I can see it. Right. Yeah.
Okay. By Yasutaka Tsutsui. So he's a Japanese writer. Mm-hmm. He's a bit famous in the anime world because one of his books has been adapted into an anime movie called Paprika.
Okay, I know.
By Satoshi Kon, and another one called The Girl Who Lived Through Time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how we found him, actually.
Okay, that's really cool. How did you sort of like take the essence of that and transform it into a short film?
Tu veux y aller, Raphaël?
Je sais pas. Vas-y, si t'es plus inspiré. Là, j'avoue.
Basically, like when I discovered the really interesting, I was like looking for something to adapt for a short film, and at first I liked the story, but I felt like it wouldn't be such a great short film. So I was like keep looking for, but I was just looking for the perfect story, and somehow like being too like looking for the perfect thing, at some point you never find it. Mm-hmm. But this idea kept running into my mind, so I presented to Raphael and said, like, we were like, why not? Like, let's try to adapt it, because it's a little bit difficult to adapt, because first the two main characters are seated at the desk the whole time, and which in terms of mise en scène is a little bit difficult to play around. And also there is this whole dream part that is like quite challenging budget-wise. And
it was budget-wise. It was sorry. No, I mean, it's budget-wise, even artistic-wise, because some ideas works really well on paper, but when you have to imagine them on screen, it's a totally different approach, and so it's why we had to change a lot of things. Actually, you know, the concept is the same than the short story, but a lot of things change, because you know you need to make it work for visually, you know, like, and sometimes, you know, the directors that try to adapt a story, you know, they fail finding you know, there are two
stuck to the book.
Stuck to the book. Stuck to the book, exactly. And us, we decide to, you know, to change many things to be sure that we keep the same vibe in a way, but with different ideas that works better for, you know, personal opinion. Yeah.
This reminded me of when we see all the guys working in the building. It sort of reminded me of like an American workplace sitcom almost, just how, like, you know, American TV, there's like a lot of very specific like workplace sitcoms, and now I sort of want like a whole series of this, of all the different dreams they're trying to you know, block and sort of capture. I was really taken by the space that you guys used and how you guys sort of dressed a lot of stuff with maybe the production designer. I was curious what kind of workspace you wanted to create, because I love all the stacks of paper everywhere. I love the giant like set of drawers behind them as they work. How did you want to create like a distinct working space?
Yeah, actually, we had to, definitely would like to that everything feels like tangible, real. But in the other hand, it's a metaphor. So we had to find an in between, something that looks, realistic and a bit strange and surreal. And so, thinking about that, we found different references, from different movies. There is one from Brazil, from Terry Gilliam, that is happening too in a kind of administration. It's happening in a strange future, but it's still like a bit weird, like the mix of weird things and a bit fantasy things. And there is like, and I remember we were looking at pictures from some French movies, actually, from the 70s. One's named Série Noire. It's this one, Leo, I think. And they were like a picture with an office full of paper like that. It's like a crappy office, in a French, from guy from the mafia in a bad boss, in France. But they are like this kind of, we like this this messy feeling. And actually, it's remind you that we are in the head of someone having a bad moment, like feel depressed. It's a metaphor of the depression, the fact that everything is a mess, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Okay. I was wondering, how do you, when you approach something where, there is a reveal at the end, do you work with the emotion of the end first and sort of work your way backwards? How do you, with this particular film, I love how it's peeled back layer by layer. We see one, element revealed at a time. How do you sort of try to not reveal too much too quickly?
So to talk about the ending, we have to talk about the actress, Yoko Higashi, because before meeting her, we had a plan for this, and we were like, the plan was to make a big monologue, an emotional monologue, something that bring the truth on the tables. We had in reference something like Secret and Lies, by Mike Lee. So it's really, really different. And we did some tests with some actress during the casting. And when we met Yoko Higashi, he was not in the casting. Like she made a show in Paris about Buto dance, because she's a performer, like a dance performer, musician, and all. And Buto dance is a Japanese dance. And it was pretty strong. And what she expressed with her body was like quite interesting. And so we bring her to the casting, and we started to try with her the monologue, and then we made it like simpler and simpler. We take off the words, and in the end we had like just 3 words, and in the very end we were like, let's have no words at all, actually, and let's make it more visual, and let's make the reveal visual as well with a flashback instead of having the truth explained with so many words,
Yeah, I like how she doesn't have any lines. Like she is so expressive, and I feel like I sort of really got the bigness of her grief from just the way that she looks at the censor. I love that moment where she is really large and he is smaller. I love that. And also sort of talking about that moment, I was curious if you guys were intentionally trying to show how something like grief sort of affects other people, just because when he goes in to see her, and I can't remember exactly the line where he says, like, why don't you want to see him? Like, we're for 5 years. I sort of was really struck by how emotional he was. And was that something intentional that you guys were planning on, or is that sort of a happy accident almost?
Oh, actually, it was, to be totally honest, we didn't really know how we should deliver the line. It was like, because actually it's an abstract character. It's not a human being. So it's true that it's a bit meta, as we say now, like it's like it's emotion in emotion, let's say. So it's true that the way he reacts, we think it makes sense in a way, because it's like, it's a part of her, actually, this guy. So the way he reacts emotionally, it's a bit her too. So it's a bit strange. It's a bit like an internal fight, let's say, like you have a part of you, telling you that, no, you need to do something, I suffer too much, you need to react. I would define it this way, because it's true that it's a bit, it's strange to have like emotional character in the mind.
Yeah,
but somehow like we wanted to have a change of tones in the film. Like we started with something quite comedy, a bit dark comedy, because there is something dark underneath the comedy, but still like there are some jokes, obviously. And but in the end, the darkness has to be revealed, and so this moment had to be emotional in some point. And this character, even if he's it's not real, it's a concept basically, but what he's living is pretty real basically. It's like it's his job, he's living in this place, and his job is to censor the dream of his boss, and it's been a while he's doing it, and it's not working because there is this drama behind. And so the whole idea was to have a sort of build up to arrive at this this ending.
Okay. I guess one last question before I let you guys go. I love when we step into the dream, and I think the sort of absurdity of it is so right, how you sort of remember certain things about your dreams. Like I love the shot of, from her point of view, looking at the man in drag, there's a blowjob happening, and then like you can even see like the wallpaper peeling behind him because they did it so hastily. When we sort of step actually like into the dream, what was like your biggest goal with that? Because I feel like that so perfectly captures like that moment where you wake up and you're like, what the hell was that? What was I thinking of? Why is that in my head?
Somehow it comes a bit from the concept, basically. Like the concept is and that's what we like in the original story, is that it's explaining in a weird way why the dreams are weird. And basically the dreams are weird because there are some elements of your memories and some element of the past you don't want to hear about, or you don't want to face them. And the censor is like changing them, is like making a whole transformation of it, but it doesn't have so much time, so he's doing it with how he can, and it ends up being like a super weird film somehow that you are living in. And the whole sense is hidden underneath. And so that's why we are like looking for, because we changed quite a lot the dream part from the original story, and we look for something that is like quite funny to tell, and we played with the weirdness of all those changes.
Okay. Well, I think that might be all I have for you guys. I love the movie. I showed it to a couple of friends when they were over last week, and they sort of had the same emotional reaction that I did, that they, it's thoroughly entertaining, but I don't think a lot of people are prepared for the emotional impact of it. And I think it really makes you think of your own subconscious and how you repress things and how you confront a lot of emotional stuff. So I love the movie so much.
Thank you. Well, thank you for watching it several times as well, because it's pretty dense, to be honest, and it's true that you cannot really catch everything. Like we ask a lot to the audience because there are like so many details, and we don't give so much information. And so it's true that most of the people I know, they prefer the film the second time they watched it because they understand it more.
And for the purpose of the film, you know, at the beginning, everything is pretty fast because they are a bit in the hurry because they have to be ready for before the dream begins.
Yeah.
So everything happened really fast at the beginning. So it's true that when you often in short films, you have a bit of time to enter into the film. And here it's almost straight. You know, as soon as you move to the door and start to walk, it's pretty fast. So it's why it deserves definitely to watch it several times.
Yeah, I like how you guys sort of rush us into it. I feel like it sort of discombobulates us on purpose, and I actually like that when watching it. I sort of really like that a lot. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. Good luck to you. This is one of I've been going through all of the short films, and this is one of my favorites that's on the list. So good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a good day. Stay safe.
Yeah, have a good one. Yeah.